The story of World War II does not begin with the first shot fired in 1939. It begins many years earlier in the shadows left behind by World War I. The world had already suffered one of the deadliest conflicts in human history, and although the guns had fallen silent, the wounds of the First War were still open and bleeding. Nations were exhausted, economies were trembling, people were angry, hopeless, and desperate. Instead, it planted seeds of resentment, humiliation, and hunger for revenge. Episode 1 of our series explores how the global tensions of the 1930s slowly transformed humanity has ever seen into the most destructive war. After World War I, Germany faced a crushing situation. The Treaty of Versailles forced the country to accept blame for the entire war. Germany had to pay enormous financial reparations, surrender territories, and drastically reduce its military strength. The people felt humiliated, betrayed, and punished beyond reason. Factories closed, workers lost jobs. Inflation spiraled so wildly that money became almost worthless. People carried cash in baskets just to buy bread. In this darkness, hope was fading, but anger was growing. And in moments like these, powerful voices begin to rise, voices that promise strength, pride, and revenge. In Germany, such a political figure emerged, a man who used speeches, propaganda, nationalism, and frustration to gain enormous influence. Without identifying him personally, we simply refer to him as the rising leader of Germany. His message was simple. The nation had been humiliated, and it was time to rebuild power, reclaim honor, and restore destiny. Millions supported him because they were desperate for change. But Germany was not the only country experiencing turmoil. Across Europe, political chaos was spreading like wildfire. In Italy, another powerful figure rose to prominence and introduced the ideology of fascism, an extreme political system where the government controls every aspect of life. Under fascism, one leader holds absolute power, and the nation becomes more important than individual freedom. Italy dreamed of restoring the glory of the ancient Roman Empire, and this ambition led them to invade African territories, seeking resources, land, and power. Africa became one of the earliest battlegrounds of the coming global conflict. Meanwhile, in the Far East, Japan was rising as a modern military empire. Japan rapidly industrialized, built powerful ships, advanced aircraft, and one of the strongest armies in Asia. The Japanese leadership believed that their nation needed more land and natural resources to survive and thrive. They developed a vision called the Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere, which claimed to unite Asia under Japanese leadership. But in reality, it meant expansion through force.
But the agreement served a hidden purpose. It secretly divided Eastern Europe between them, especially Poland. Finally, on September 1, 1939, the world saw the first spark of the coming inferno. German forces launched a massive invasion of Poland. Tanks rolled across fields, aircraft bombed cities at dawn, and civilians fled in panic. In just hours, Poland was engulfed in chaos. 2 days later, on September 3rd, Britain and France declared war on Germany. The world had crossed the point of no return. World War II had officially begun. This moment changed everything. The invasion of Poland was not just the start of a war, it was the beginning of a global transformation. In the years that followed, cities would be destroyed, millions would lose their lives, and entire nations would be reshaped forever. The storm has begun, and from this point onward, the world will never be the same. In the next episode, we will explore how the early months of World War II unfolded, the fall of Poland, the shocking strategies used in Europe, the rapid expansion of military powers, and the beginning of battles that would shake the world. Stay with us as we continue the journey through the story of World War II. Japan invaded Manchuria in 1931 and later expanded deeper into China, launching brutal battles and shocking the world with their aggression. Asia was beginning to burn, but the world was too busy with its own problems to stop them. Factories shut down, kitchens had no food, Banks failed. People lost hopes. Leaders everywhere struggled to keep order, while extremist political movements rose rapidly. The world's major powers became more aggressive, more militaristic, and more confident that they could expand without facing serious resistance. This growing tension was visible everywhere from Europe to Asia to Africa. However, instead of stopping these aggressive powers, the democratic nations of Europe adopted a weak strategy known as the policy of appeasement. This policy meant avoiding war by giving aggressive countries what they demanded, in hopes that they would stop expanding. But history teaches us that feeding a hungry beast never satisfies it. It only makes it stronger. During this period, between 1936 and 1939, a major conflict erupted in Spain, the Spanish Civil War. Two sides fought for control of the country. One side supported democratic rule, while the other side supported fascism. Germany and Italy sent troops, aircraft, and weapons to support the fascist side, while the Soviet Union supported the opposing side. New bombs, new strategies, and new weapons were tested for the first time on Spanish soil. The world watched in horror as entire cities were bombed from the sky, but no one stepped in to stop the spread of aggression. Instead, the major powers began preparing for something even bigger. Between 1937 and 1939, Germany became more confident. The rising leader rebuilt the German military in direct violation of the Treaty of Versailles. New tanks were produced, aircraft factories expanded, and soldiers trained in massive camps. European nations hesitated to act, fearing another war. Soon, Germany annexed Austria, claiming it was a unification of German-speaking people. No one stopped them. Encouraged by this success, Germany then demanded territories in Czechoslovakia, again claiming that the people living there spoke the German language. European leaders held meetings, signed agreements, and once again chose appeasement. They handed over the Sudetenland region to Germany, hoping it would satisfy the expansion, but it did not. Germany only grew more ambitious. At this stage, Europe was filled with fear. Rumors spread across cities. Soldiers trained at the borders, but the world still hoped that war could be avoided. Then, in a shocking twist of diplomacy, Germany and the Soviet Union signed a non-aggression pact in 1939. This stunned the world because the two countries had been ideological enemies.